Hi guys, welcome back to another project video. That's what I'm test driving today. 1997 300 TDI Discovery, and it's not just any 1997 300 TDI Discovery, it is my 1997 300 TDI Discovery. I purchased this beautiful car off Chris around about 6-7 weeks ago. It was one of the cars that I've always wanted from him, and he sort of gave us a go ahead and went, listen, I'm probably never going to use it. He's more of a, like an off-road sort of lad, so he was like, it's just too nice to use, so he let me buy it. And like I said, I'm very happy with this car. What a beautiful scenery we have here, isn't it? This is just on the outskirts of Beamish in County Durham, and I thought, what a backdrop for my lovely little 1997 300 TDI Discovery. This car is absolutely breathtaking. For a retro Land Rover, I love it. I absolutely love these things. This is number 4 for me. I love that Riviera blue. This is Riviera blue. It's got the A-frame bar on it. So this is actually a metal bull bar with a foam and plastic coating. Obviously, safety first and pedestrians with Land Rover of the 90s. It also has the Safari lamps on there as well. They don't work, but it is what it is. It's a 25-year-old Land Rover. It's not a 25-year-old Land Cruiser, so we can't expect absolutely everything to work. But yeah, I am over the moon with this car. Freestyle alloys. It just looks nice. That's the back of it there. That lovely big door. Has some really rare bits in this as well. It's got the load cover still on, and usually if you have a look around here, that area there is known for snapping. People usually super glue them. So it's got the load liner, and it's got the optional dog cover. It did have tinted windows. It did have tinted windows on these windows. Obviously still got a tint on that one. I'm going to be taking that one off, and I did have a tint on the rear window. I don't like these with tints. I think it cheapens them. Like I said, with it being a proper classic Discovery, I think for me it's definitely just something that I'd love to keep it, but you know, I've owned it now for about 6 weeks. It's done me proud. Done about 1,200 miles in this in 6 weeks, and like I said, it runs absolutely perfect. What a beautiful day it is, honestly. Blue skies, bank holiday Monday, folks, in England. We shouldn't be having weather like this, but I took to a car show the other day, and so many people were like, oh my god, it's no Discovery. It's in absolutely beautiful condition. A couple of things. Behind these headlamps here, there's some clips. I've replaced them. I need to put the lettering on the bonnet and the lettering on the back door. But like I said, I absolutely love this car. Really do. It's my 4th Discovery. I haven't actually shown you the... Sorry, no, that's a lie. I did show you the other two. I did. One was obviously the 6.5 litre V8 GMC one, which Chris ended up getting. And then, yeah, like I said, this was one of his original ones. Stunning car. Absolutely stunning car it is. So guys, here we are in our 1997 Land Rover Discovery 300 TDI. I've just came down wrong road there, so I'm just going to quickly go back up. Yeah, this is actually a Japanese import of this vehicle. So what that means is that obviously it was sold in Japan through a Land Rover dealer as such. And then in 2006, late 2006, this car actually came to the UK. So it's effectively had 10 years of its life added on, because if this car was here in the UK from new, guarantee it would be rotten as a pear. Now don't get me wrong, this car has had some welding done to it, so it's had the rear arches done at some point. It's also had the 2 sills at some point, and I believe it's had a small patch done on the floor, but nothing compared to what I've had to spend on my other 300 TDI, which is a UK car with 80,000 miles. I mean, this one here is showing 170,000 miles nearly. Absolutely beautiful condition, this car. And I think it's really rare to find cars of this sort of stature when you start talking about Land Rover Discovery ones, because I'd probably say 90% of them have literally just been chopped up, put on massive lift kits, bobtailed, and then off-roaded, and then when they are done with them, they just sort of like get stuck and left in the field, and then that's it. They're never to be seen again. So to find a car of this sort of condition, really, really rare. I love these cars. This is my 4th Land Rover Discovery. Like I said, 300 TDI. This isn't automatic, so it's the EDC pump. It's not actually the manual pump that you would normally find on a manual car. This is a EDC, so it's an electronic fuel pump on this one. But this does have the Synergy tuning box. So standard, there were 111 horsepower and about 195 pounds-foot of torque in the manual 300 TDI Discovery ones, and then you had the automatic ones, and they had slightly more power, so they had 120 horsepower and then 220 pounds-foot of torque. Now, when you think of that torque figure there, sorry, it is a bit bumpy, it is a 25-year-old Land Rover. When you think about that torque figure there, it's amazing, because when they did the 3.9 litre fuel-injected V8 in this model, what they basically got out of it power-wise was around about, I think it was like 178 horsepower, but only 229 pounds-foot of torque, so it had 9 less torques than what this had. And like I said, this one's got the 300 TDI Synergy tuning box, so I think that the power on the 300 TDI Synergy tuning box has probably brought it from 120 horsepower, maybe do like 132, and then from 132 horsepower, 220 pounds-foot of torque, so around probably about 240 pounds-foot of torque. It does pull up hills really, really well, this car. Not what you would normally expect from a 26-year-old Land Rover. This is finished in Riviera Blue. It is a stunning colour, absolutely stunning colour. Chris actually owned this car for probably around about 2 years. His wife drove it, and it was literally pretty much doing a horse box run 2-3 times a week for 2 years, and he said it just ran flawlessly. I've had to do a couple of little bits and bobs, fit a lift pump because the lift pump was starting to go. So yeah, I fitted a lift pump. When I got the car, Chris had done a respray on it at the earlier end of the year. So back in, like, I think it was like end of January time, he started doing a full respray on it. He ended up changing all of the window seals, so quarter glass window seals came out, rear door window seals came out, and then the front window came out as well. So the front window seals have been changed also. So that is probably around about, you know, a good few £100 there just spent on window seals as such. Sorry, I'm just trying to get out of this junction. It's an absolute nightmare, this junction, because you've got traffic coming from each end. There you go, we're free to clear now. If I was in a TD V8 Vogue, not a problem. But like I said, it's a good old girl, this. Fit as a lot. That auto box, it is what it is. It's effectively an 80s design auto box, I think. Is it 80s or maybe even late 70s? This was a 4-speed automatic. You've got your high and low ratio transfer box there as well. Once you get past 50, this car really does perform very, very well. It will do over 80 miles an hour easily, and still have more to give. On the motorway, I'm happily cruising on at 70 miles an hour at around about 2,700 RPM. Like I said, it's got the Synergy tuning 300 TDI tuning box on. It works a treat, it really, really does. Should you buy a 300 TDI then? I think you should. I think these are cracking cars. They're becoming even more of a rare classic. I did take this to a classic car show. I was the only Discovery there. And like I said, for me, when you think about Discoveries, lot of people think, oh, that's the car that saved Land Rover, but Discovery, it was the car that saved Land Rover, because at the time, obviously, British Leyland, Rover, whatever you want to call it, they had issues, and they had the classic Range Rover, they had the 110, they had the 90, but they needed something in between, and this, like I said, this single car saved Land Rover. It's got a lot of space in here as well. The interior is nice. I've actually put the XS interior in this car because I feel like it makes the car, the Land Rover logos printed on the middle of the seats and the door cards, it just makes it look cool and quirky and retro as such. You can probably see from the images there that the headliner is starting to sag. Chris does all of the headlining for the Discovery 1 non-sunroof and sunroof model. This is a non-sunroof model, so with it being a non-sunroof model, it is actually really solid floor pan. So just letting a horse go by there. So yeah, really solid floor pan. If you did have a sunroof model, obviously over time the sunroofs leaked like hell. My other 300 TDI, that had a leaky sunroof. The floor pans, what happens is it's got like this matting inside, underneath the carpet, and what happens is when your sunroofs leak, or if you do a bit of off-road and then the water comes into the cabin, it's almost like a sponge. It just sort of sucks up all the water and it holds it there, and then when you get in and out, your feet and your weight are obviously putting basically letting the water out from the sponge, and it just rots the floor pans. Like I said, this one here being a non-sunroof model was definitely a plus for me, because I didn't want them rotted floor pans, and I can tell that the actual wadding has been taken out as well. Yes, it's a little bit noisier in here, but the peace of mind of having solid floor pans on a Discovery, it's definitely a plus sign for me. So there we have it, folks. Should you buy a classic Land Rover Discovery? I think you should. I think the superb value for money, especially if you get a good one. I think even if you get a project and you spend a couple of £1,000 on welding and other bits and bobs, but I think you can still get a usable classic daily. They're very hard to come by now because of the fact that a lot of them have just been ruined and wrecked and modified, and examples like this now don't really exist, and that's why examples like this and early examples which are unmodified or restored, they're all fetching really good money, and I feel like they are a superb value for money classic vehicle. Like I said, to get a Defender, you're probably looking at maybe a third more to double and then some for an early 110 300 TDI. And like I said, from some of the projects that we've seen, the early 300 TDI Defenders, they are going for really strong money. So yeah, for me, I believe that this is the perfect classic 4x4. Please, if you haven't already, like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I shall see you later, folks. Cheers now, bye bye.